Blah. That's what the Chloromancer deserves. What's up, gamers? We back again for some more Trove to the Dove. Today we're going to be talking about the Chloromancer at a glorious 35k. This has been a very, very highly requested one. I know why. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, guys. Chloromancer kind of sucks. Like, Chloromancer is one of the characters that is in desperate need of a rework. Most of your abilities are useless. The damage output is just minimal. I still, despite that, think we're gonna be able to handle U10 and Delves okay. I think we're gonna be fine in that regard. But the problem is that, especially with Chloromancer being a staff-wielding character, you can literally take all of your gear and all of your gems off Chloromancer, throw them onto Tomb Raiser, Draco, or even another magic character like Faye or something, and you'll just be doing better. It's kind of the same example with physical characters where you just take certain items and swap them into Neon Ninja, like Shadowhunter versus Neon Ninja. It's like just swap your Shadowhunter gear to Neon Ninja and you're just faster and stronger. Chloromancer is kind of the same thing, where I love the style of the character, no question about that. Like, it's one of the coolest looking characters in the game, has a lot of different animations going on and stuff like that. The plants aren't cool at all, but the damage fall off is just absolutely insane. One of the big reasons for that, which I've explained in many videos, is that if we have two of these plants going off at the same time, only one of them is actually causing damage. So if they changed it so that it would do stacking damage, Chloromancer could actually be a pretty good contender, I think. Also, the Clash Gem ability throws down like a cactus that's like a minigun, and that actually does insane amounts of damage, but is inconsistent. If you could have one spawn all the time, similar to what they ended up doing with the Draco rework, again, Chloromancer would actually be an endgame contender. The funny thing is, way back in the day, people used Chloromancer as a healer just because it's the only character that has a healing ability, which is this exploding plant that ends up healing you a certain amount of health. But as soon as you get to the end game and are fighting any type of enemy that is worthwhile, you're getting one shot anyways. Because if you build your characters correctly, you're not going to have any health, which you can see I am not perfect as far as my stats are concerned or anything, but we're hitting that 35k threshold, and that's the important thing. So anyways, before we get started with the actual 5 minutes of Geode Surface, gotta let you guys know, if you're new to Trove, use that sign up link down in the description, and then anything you buy out of the cash shop, I'll make a percentage of that sale. It's an awesome way you can support me by literally just playing the game, doing things you would otherwise be doing anyways. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to spend 5 minutes in the Geode Surface. This is going to kind of be a bit of a mess because we have the Easter event going on, and honestly speaking, it kind of messes U10 up. There is less 1-star dungeons, and all 1-star dungeons have been replaced by the egg dungeons, which kind of sucks because those dungeons are very tedious because you can't blast your way into them unless you're using a dragon, which I don't really want to use just because I want to have the movement speed of being able to use Gonda and have infinite jump and stuff. So anyways, boop, there we go. Let's just start the timer and let's just go for it. I'm very curious, honestly. I'm really curious to see what ends up happening here with Chloromancer. Like, I'm not really, I don't know, dude. Like, I don't really have the most expectations of the character. I think that we're probably going to just die. Not really die, but I'm just not really expecting the damage output to be there. Yeah, so you can already see, like, that's, I mean, maybe that was just lag. I don't know. I guess, well, I don't necessarily need to be using Unyielding. I could be using Trailblazing or something, but it doesn't really matter that much. So ideally, we're throwing down a couple different plants. I mean, if this guy wasn't an absolute idiot and just circle strafing around, like, this is pretty sad. It's pretty bad. Like, we seem like, it's not like it's awful, you know, and I wasn't expecting it to be absolute trash, but at the same time, this is pretty bad. Like, the amount of time that it takes to get our damage output, just because we're so reliant on all of our plants and stuff like that, that's kind of the biggest problem. Just because it requires us to put down a plant, shoot at it until it's fully grown, and then our damage is actually hitting, you know? But even then, the damage is just so minuscule compared to using like any of the other magic based characters. How is that? Is somebody over there? Oh, somebody followed me. Dang it, dude. Whatever. But I don't know. I mean, it's not like it's awful. Like, it's not, I'll say it's not like it's unplayable. That's kind of the key word here. Once again, you know, we could be using another character and just do better, right? That's kind of the biggest point that I want to make with the Chloromancer, just because Chloro works. You know, it's not like the character is unusable, right? It's just when you compare the character to pretty much any other magic character, it's just not going to end up dishing out the damage that you would expect, especially for like Trove's end game and stuff like that, right? Which, I mean, again, it's most of all just because of the build up. Because once we get our plants down, it actually is not bad. Like, I'm kind of surprised that Chloro seems to be doing just fine. I guess that's what happens when you have any character at, you know, at U10 difficulty or 35k or anything. Like, any character is going to be able to handle this. It's just, is it going to handle it well? Which I'm honestly surprised. I thought that Chloromancer would be like unplayable. Huh. Well, that's kind of a happy present, isn't it? Because I really like Chloromancer as far as character design, as I mentioned before. It's just the fact that the Chloromancer still, you know, still falls off compared to other characters, but this isn't bad. Like, it's not awful. It might even be better than Shadowhunter, which is kind of sad when you think about it, because the thing about Shadowhunter is that Shadowhunter obviously, like, outright has more damage than Chloromancer, for sure, for sure. The problem is that Shadowhunter can only really hit one enemy at a time. That is, you know, one of the biggest problems that I have with the character, just because your bow, I think this guy's following me, just because your bow doesn't phase through enemies or anything like that, which I feel like it should, and your ultimate ability is kind of useless, right? As opposed to Chloromancer, we, you know, even if only one of our plants is doing damage at a time, at the least it's still damaging all the enemies around it, so it does make it viable. I'm honestly very taken aback here. Like, I was expecting this to be terrible. Like, it's obviously it's not good, but it's not awful, you know. And I'm kind of surprised. I kind of want to maybe main the Chloromancer again. I don't know. I mean, kill 30 enemy dungeons, that is actually kind of a joke for Chloromancer, just because your little plants are going to end up covering such a wide range, you know. But I guess as soon as it comes to like actual damage output, like, I'm expecting when we go into the delves, it's probably going to just be like night and day. This character is not good kind of thing, you know? Because as soon as we end up having to get to the point of high damage output, Chloromancer's just gonna fall off. Like, I'm sure of that. Just because we're pretty much just reliant on throwing down our plants. And again, like, they take too long to grow up. That could be another quick fix, is if they just made it so that the plants weren't as picky, maybe. I don't know. Or if they would aggro enemies or something, give us a little survivability, I guess. I don't know. There's so many things that they could end up doing with Chloromancer, dude. Like, that's the thing. The character is actually really open for discussion in terms of what they could end up fixing with it, you know? Biggest thing, I think, personally, is just change the ultimate ability so that it isn't disgusting. Like, the ultimate ability kind of sucks. That was the one thing, like, if I can nitpick another thing about the Chloromancer. When the Chloromancer first came out, it was the most lackluster ultimate ability in the entire game. Because it's the only one where it literally just casts your number 1 and number 2 ability over and over and over again. But the difference being is that, again, the problem, 2 of these down on the ground aren't going to end up synergizing and doing extra damage. It feels like they were supposed to, but they just didn't. I don't know why. Anyways, I guess that's a pretty good example. I'm surprised that Chloromancer does just fine. I guess U10 just isn't difficult enough once you get to 35k, huh? But anyways, let me set up and we'll hop into the delves and see how he ends up handling that. Well, this is probably going to end up going very, very poorly, but we'll do it anyways. I don't know. I mean, it should be okay. We seem to have gotten a decent objective just because we have the monoliths, and those are usually really, really easy. I mean, that's the thing. It's funny, right? Like, every time I go into the delves, I'm always like, oh, this character's gonna be terrible. Then I fight enemies, and I'm like, oh, we're actually doing okay. And then my brain clicks in and realizes, wait, it doesn't matter what we do to the normal enemies. We're trying to see how much damage we end up doing to the boss. because the boss is the only tough one, which I'm excuse me, I'm honestly excited to see what happens, because as much as I don't think Chloromancer is going to do a very good job of it, geez Louise, okay, 1 second here. There we go. Jesus, I don't know what the heck that was, just having an attack. But the thing is with Chloromancer, at least we can have constant damage output. Even if it's not really high damage, you can have constant damage output. Compare that to some other characters like, I don't know, like Candy Barb or Lunar Lancer. And these characters get a lot of extra damage from their ults and stuff like that. Whereas with Chloromancer, you don't really get anything from your ult. It's actually kind of sad. The other thing too is, you know, putting down our plants and everything like that. Like we seem to be doing okay for the enemies, but I'm really dreading what's going to end up happening at the boss. We're not at super deep depths or anything like that either. It's kind of just good enough. If we can get the cactus to end up spawning. Cactus! Jesus, what's happening to me? Somebody help. One of you is casting a spell. If we can get the cactus to spawn, then it'll end up really showing its worth. But most of all, you gotta just make sure that you're throwing down your number 1 all the time. Just because the explosive plants are gonna be where most of your damage is. It's not bad. That's not bad at all. I mean, obviously, I'm not used to using Chloro, so I'm not throwing down my right click as often as I should. Our number 1 is kind of healing us out, actually. I'm a bit surprised. Like, the exploding plants are pretty darn good, surprisingly. I mean, granted, we're fighting like a really weak-ass enemy. Like, if we were fighting something super duper strong, forget about it. We would be killed on the spot, like in 1 hit. But this is not awful. I mean, obviously, if I pop my flash, then it really starts to shine. Most of all, I need my classroom ability to pop off, and then we can really see. There we go. There we go. That's the damage that the Chloromancer needs. I like how I'm getting excited about this, even though it's the Chloromancer, and it's like, we're doing better. Like, the sad thing is we're doing better than most physical characters do, but we are not doing as good as any other magic characters, that's for sure. Well, you know what? I'm pleasantly surprised at that. Like, the Chloromancer's not as useless as I thought it would be. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not useless. But yeah, that was interesting to say the least. Like, I'm honestly kind of shocked. So anyways, thanks for watching, gamers. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed, because Chloromancer's been a highly requested one, especially because Chloromancer is like, Chloromancer, as far as style is concerned, is one of my favorite characters. It's just the character falls off so flat compared to everything else, like gameplay wise. That's why I just haven't mained it for like the longest time. But I don't know, any of you future Chloro mains can actually see for yourselves. Yes, you can main it. It's not going to do the best job. You literally can take all of your magic gems and swap it to almost any of the other magic gem characters in the game, and you're just going to outright be better. Especially if you're using a staff, like just swap to Tomb Raiser or something. Like, it's just, yeah, whatever. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want to support the channel, and have a great day. Sayonara and stay epic, everybody.